Hello and welcome to episode 275 of Checkpoint Chat. My name is Alessandro Barbosa. I'm joined by Matthew Figuera.
Who lives under the stairs now. You can call me not Harry Potter.
HP, except it's
HP.
HF.
It's health points. Health points under, under the stairs, yeah.
I mean, it's technically accurate to your location. Although, where did he live? He lived in the UK, but
He lived
I don't know where.
in the UK. It was, now I have gone blank. I think it is an actual area in the UK.
I mean,
This
I'd
was
imagine so. It
fictionalized.
would be very weird of them to specify it was in the UK and not specify
So
where.
where did Harry Potter... No. Where did Harry Potter live?
Where did he live? Hogwarts, you
The-
fucking idiot.
He lived in Hogwarts. He lived in Little Whinging. Little Whinging.
Little whinging.
Which is the
Little
southwest
whining.
of London, which is southwest of London in the county of Surrey. Okay, I actually know where Surrey is. That's,
Okay.
Yeah, well, that's where he lived.
Do you think they filmed in a suburb there and then that suburb's just really popular? Sort of like Hobbitown in
I don't know
New
if-
Zealand.
It's funny because in the books and obviously the movie, it's this squeaky clean, boring suburb. Do you think if you lived there, you're like, hey man, that's not cool. We got personality. What are you doing?
To be fair, a lot of those suburban houses in, I don't know if it's specifically London, but in the UK, they do look like those, not like cookie cutter complexes, but they all have the exact same style.
Exact
and
same,
stacked
yeah.
next to each other.
No, but
Yeah.
there it was that. I mean, I don't know if that's the actual street, but in the books and the movie, it is like copy paste. You just copy paste
Yes.
these houses, whatever. So I don't know. I feel like the UK, you do get that. It's like you'll get blocks of buildings, but there's always little touches of personality that come through. Like you'll in the same row of flats or apartments, whatever. Like that one's got a yellow door. That one's got a black door. This one's got like
Oh, I see.
plants and
Okay.
whatever. Like, you know what I mean? There's little differentiation. with
But
that.
they've all got the same sort of face brick and
Yeah,
shape
it'll be the same
to
sort of
them,
style
yeah.
and shape, but
Yeah.
little touches of personality.
It is kind of cool though. I quite like that because you also, I think if you going around and buying, you know exactly what you're getting into. And because those are not newish complexes that are built really cheaply, it's old houses that are built correctly. They're just built all the same because that's how it was back in the day. It's kind of
Yeah.
cool, I think. The building you're staying in, not to completely dox you,
Man.
but really cool building.
You can dox me, it's fine. Because
I mean, you dox yourself on Instagram, so
Ain't
it's
nobody
okay.
gonna get in here. It's fine. Yeah,
That's
we
fair.
live in an old match factory,
Very cool.
which
Very,
was
very
just
cool.
I think I'm getting my decades. It is in the 70s, 80s, or 90s. Was converted just into apartment.
It was in the space of 30 years. Who knows?
It's probably 80s, 90s. It's all converted into these apartments. And let me tell you, when we were leaving our last place, I mean, very special to us. It's the first place we lived in London, and you saw our old apartment. It's
Cute place.
teeny
I
tiny,
dug it.
but
Yeah.
very well located, and we loved that area. We learned to love the parks, and we had a grocery store over the road. When we left, we're man, we can always move back. We always come back if we're really unhappy moving east. Now that we're here, we've been here 6 going on 7 weeks now. And I'm don't even think of the old place. we really, really enjoying it here. We discovering, because we moved here, we knew nothing about the area at all. We're we like the place, don't know the area around it all, but we fast learning that we've landed again in a very lucky location where we've got Victoria Park. It's a kilometer away from us. It's a massive park. If you do a loop around it, it's 4.5 k's. If you want to set a
Oh
sense
wow,
of
that is big.
scale, huge park. Canals aren't far.
That's a lot bigger than the park you were
Yeah.
running at. in your
Clissold was
last
really
place,
nice, but
yeah.
that was a k, maybe a k and a half around. Yeah, and we just spoiled. The only thing is our old apartment was small, but very easy to heat in the winter. Now we've got nice double volume ceiling. That looks very nice, but what is it going to be like in winter? Don't know yet. Feels very
But all
warm.
of these places have central heating, no?
Oh yeah, but the nice thing about our last place is that heating was included, which is a godsend. Yeah, not included. So we're our electricity bill, it's probably going to jump up. I'm guessing, I don't know, but probably jump up by like 50 to 70 pounds a month.
I thought all the
winter.
heating there was gas.
No. So it depends. Our heating in this place is, we've got like an electric heater on the wall.
Okay.
Most of them are gas. You're right, though. It's unusual to have like an electric heater.
Because your old place was gas, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was all gas, yeah.
Yeah. I remember
And gas
that.
was included.
It was
like,
very
wow.
toasty in the winter.
Yeah.
I do remember walking into that little apartment and I was like, damn, need to take off these jackets.
Yeah, so we fast approaching. I mean, it's autumn now. It's 11 outside. We had really nice weather up until this week. I think it's like a bit of a cold front, and it's still fine in here. So I'm hopeful that when the temperatures
11's not that cold yet.
No, but I'm hoping when the temperatures plummet, it's still like it's not going to be toasty, but as long as it's not freezing, it's fine.
Yeah, you don't want to be sitting in your living room like breathing out cold air.
Yeah, well, here's a comparison. If it was 11 in Johannesburg, I mean, it's not a fair comparison because those houses aren't built for the cold, but you'd not be in a short sleeve shirt if it was 11
absolutely
outside.
not. No.
So,
I mean, I've spoken about it many times. The house we're in now was absolutely frigid during winter. It was some of the worst cold I've ever experienced, and we looked at solutions to try and insulate it and whatever, and there's like no way to insulate big spaces without you kind of just like, at least we had a contractor who was like, listen, you can do this, but the difference you'll feel will be so minor because like hot air is escaping in all these little crevices and whatever. So it's really, you're going to waste a ton of money. So appreciate him not absolutely taking us for a ride.
But we just do this and that, whatever.
Yeah, you'll get a 5 degree, temperature difference, but I really don't know how we're going to make this place like warmer in the winter because it's like in a valley as well. It's near like a big body of water, so it's just so cold.
Yeah. The only thing I know in the UK, like obviously things are built for the cold, but what makes a huge difference is the double glazed windows. Like that helps, but I mean, I don't think it's like a band-aid solution for every place. Just put double glaze and fix the problem.
I think it all works in tandem. Like if you've got insulation and then you've got double glaze, you are reducing the areas where warm air can escape. But as soon as you've got one or two places, it doesn't really matter how much you insulate because it will just gravitate there and escape there anyway. So it's like it's an all or nothing sort of thing. If you go all in and you manage to like patch all these places, then you're good. But if you do 95% of it, you may as well have done zero. It's really annoying.
Just knock the house down and build it from scratch.
Yeah, sure, why not? Yeah. Also won the lotto yesterday. It's great.
Wow, congrats. Yeah, it's funny though. I don't know. Even building work. My mom and stepdad they renovated their place. I don't know, like 2-3 years ago now. Typical Portuguese thing. They had 2 bedrooms. Okay, it's just them. 2-bedroom place. Okay, which is more than enough. But they're like, no, we must have another bedroom. So built like whole renovation, like basically expanded the house. Like it's difficult to explain. They like added volume to the house and it's squeezed in a room somehow.
Oh wow!
Like cool. This is a few years ago. Like done. You've got 3 bedrooms, just the 2 of you now. You're obviously to entertain all the grandkids and whatever.
Yeah, you have space for you and Lenska to stay when you come and visit.
Very cool. But now they're like, we're thinking of doing more renovations. Like build out this. I'm like, why? Why do you keep doing this to yourself? And my mom's like, yeah, it's so annoying, all this admin and the stress. I'm like, well, you chose to do it. It's like,
all this building, it's so annoying. It's like so dirty
building,
all the time.
all the dirt. I'm like, well, no one forced
you chose this.
Do it. Yeah.
Nah.
I don't know.
I can empathize. Like we had builders here for months, and it's just so frustrating.
But difference
it makes you never want to do stuff.
Place, like, cool, I've moved in. This isn't the house I bought from scratch. I want to just do some changes, make it like my home. Okay. So I get it. It's the first time I got
stuff. That stuff is expensive here as well. Like, I mean,
I think it's
doing an extension to a house. It's the bricks are just so expensive. Labor's also expensive. It's a lot. Like I'm kind of jealous that your mom was able to expand the house because I kind of want to do not expand ours, but like build up some areas and like renovate them. But it's just like every time you get a quote, it's like, oh, okay, no, not doing that now because it's just so much money.
Well, I have to ask, did you do the Portuguese thing and get your parents to recommend the builder, someone? Or?
We didn't. We found someone like sort of in the community and thought it'd be really good. Started off really well, but as my parents quickly told me, they're like, doesn't matter what builder you get, they're all shit. They're all like terrible in some sort of way. And
that's a sweeping statement.
True's Bob, the fucking like the last month was just painful. Just like work took way longer than it should have, and then when it was all done, trying to get all the stuff like removed took way longer than it should have, and so much like nagging on my end. It's annoying. You just want things to be done the correct way the first time. That's all. It's not hard. But apparently it is. So
I'm surprised your parents didn't force feed you someone, because there's always a person, you know, like
I think a lot of the people they've used over the years are also getting a bit old. Yeah. So like I know there's a guy that's always done our painting and stuff, and he's like 70 something now. So it's like that's not really ideal for him either. Yeah. You know,
it is looking in hindsight now. We had a builder, a Portuguese dude for years years ago at my parents' old place. When my dad was still around, his name was Senhor Fernandes.
Sure.
Looking back now, I'm like, yeah, that's very Portuguese. But back there's the Senhor Fernandes is coming to do some renovations. Like, oh, okay, cool. My main man, Senhor Fernandes. But it was the same thing. Like he did stuff for a very long time. Then eventually you're like, man, this dude's just too old. Like he's just getting older and older.
But it's cool to find someone who's reliable like that, because you know that they do good work. You trust them as well. They trust you, and everything's like, you know, above board. Everyone's happy with the whole arrangement. And it's tough to find that, I think. But you just need to find like one guy who's really happy to do the work, and you're really happy with his work, and then they recommend other people as well, because they work with all sorts of other people on different jobs, and then you like build a rapport with all these people that you'll probably use for the rest of your life. So I'm still waiting for that. Yeah, and then when it hasn't happened yet.
When they're done building, you're like, hey man, what are you doing, lad? You want to party up in Borderlands? we friends now.
I can't tell if that was your segue
might as
or
well
not,
be.
But we can. It might as well be. Let's check for chat to talk about video games. Do you want to go into Borderlands first? We can do that.
Let's do Borderlands quickly, because
Borderlands 4. You heard of this looter shooter genre? Crazy.
Unreal.
You heard of Diablo with guns?
Crazy. Let me just preface this by saying I've played like a hot hour of Borderlands 4, so this is just strictly the opening mission and like the first little bit of Kairos, the area you play in this game. But I will say, just a quick diversion work-wise, I was busy doing a post on Borderlands 4, and one of my colleagues was like, what? Can we talk about like looting? You know, I'm like, it's Borderlands. It's a looter shooter. Like, I don't know what to tell you. This is the genre of the game.
Like quite literally.
I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm like, Borderlands invented that. Like, looting's not a new thing in game. Like, obviously you've had Diablo, but I think Borderlands was the first, like, hey man, it's Diablo but with guns, essentially.
Yeah, quite literally. That was its like pitch.
Yeah. You know? I mean, and Borderlands 1 came out a very long time ago, and I love the franchise. I've played Borderlands 1. Borderlands 2 is still probably one of my most played games. I played it multiplayer, but I played a lot single player. Pre-sequel, loved, but then I just missed, I don't know why, I just kind of maybe got over the franchise a bit, maybe a bit fatigued. I missed Tiny Tina's spin-off, which I should play.
Apparently it's very good.
Yeah, because the DLC in Borderlands 2... or pre-sequel, I can't remember which one it was very good. Loved it. And then Borderlands 3, I just had no interest. It was just so weird. When it came out, I was like, I'll play it on sale, and I just never played it. But then Borderlands 4, looking at all the footage going into this game, I'm like, actually, I'm very keen to get back into it. And I think there's been some good, from what I saw, it's like there's some good quality of life things I want to enjoy here, and like that were maybe necessary. I think the most prominent of which are the movement options you have now. I don't, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't even know if you know this yourself, but I don't think there was like a grapple hook in Borderlands 3. There wasn't a double
I
jump,
don't know.
and there wasn't
I
a dash or a boost.
I think I'm not mistaken. The like dash or the slide was in Borderlands 3. But I
Yeah.
know the grapple hook definitely is like a new thing. I might be wrong because just like you, I didn't really play Borderlands 3. So
I think it's new because even in the marketing, it is like move around in Borderlands like never before. It's like there's definitely been this emphasis on, these movements options. And I must say, if I think of particularly Borderlands 1, I mean, Borderlands 2 had the same sort of problem. It felt a bit static because much as I loved those games, fighting a boss was pretty much you just looking at the boss, you just emptying clip after clip, sidestepping, jumping, whatever. Granted, I haven't fought any bosses in the game yet, any huge bosses in the opening hour, but I did unlock obviously you get the double jump like out the gate, and I unlocked it's not the dash, it's like this boost, so you can basically double jump and it's basically a jetpack. You can glide along short distances, but using that to move around, it feels good already. Like if you just sprinting across this huge expanse, you can just double jump and like boost and like do it again, and it feels like it's a nice acceleration to it. So even just from that, I'm like, okay, cool, this feels really good. Grapple hook, I'm still waiting to see it really in action because it's a fixed thing. It's not like the closest comparison I can think of is Halo Infinite. You get a grapple hook, but you can grapple onto anything. Like you could grapple onto the wall, onto the floor. Here it's only fixed points you can grapple to. Which is fine, but I just don't know what it's like in over the long run. How much is it used? Does it give me options against enemies, or is it like more you need to climb this cliff, there's a specific part of the cliff you need to aim at? So
that's what I was going to ask. Is it more like a traversal, or is it something you can use in combat?
Yeah, I mean, there probably will be. I imagine there will be boss arenas where it's built with that in mind. It's for you to zip around. But out in the real world, like if you're watching the footage, I'm just running around shooting little critters. There's like no grapple points that I can see. So I don't know. I'll see what that's like in action. But
what class did you end up going for?
I went for the Siren. It's funny because I think, just out of pure, like the first Borderlands, I'm pretty sure I played Lilith. Is it Lilith?
It is Lilith, yeah, the first one.
Two, I definitely played the Siren. Third one, I'm pretty sure I played the Siren as well. So I was like, I'm as interesting as all the characters look, I think just historically, I've always gone for like the magic cast, whatever you want to call them. And
I think they've traditionally been the most fun to play as well.
I think the Borderlands 2 had the best ability still, I think, where you could like put enemies into that bubble. You could like, as you played the game, eventually had points that like it pulled enemies in, and then it did elemental. There were a lot of cool things you could do with that. In this one, the ability I've chosen, if you're looking at the footage, you'll see I have a little purple companion, a purple cat. That is my skill, where basically this spirit follows me around, attacks enemies, and when I activate my ability, I summon like a bigger version of it that explodes and does more damage and stuff like that. Still early days. Like I don't know how it'll change spec wise as I go along. But
it's almost like a combination of two classes in Borderlands. Was it 1 or 2 where you had Mordecai who had the bird?
Yeah, the bird.
He was like the sniper and the bird. I mostly gravitate towards the Siren as well, and I probably will in this game. But I remember in 2, I was a big fan of Zero, the sort of assassin ninja dude. Yeah. He just had a really cool ability with his sword, and like the movement with him was really fast. So I thoroughly enjoyed playing as him.
But I think Borderlands has always been about just the guns, the looting, and whatever. And again, like this is super early days, but the guns I've had, I mean, they only really give you like pistols, SMGs, and assault rifles initially. That's all I've really played with, but they feel really good. The weapon I'm using in this footage, it just sounds good and it feels good to reload, and just, there's like a weight to it, which is really nice. So I'm hoping through the whole duration of this game, like I have that feeling with most, if not all, the weapons that I pick up. And one thing that's pretty cool as well, again, I don't know if this is a Borderlands 3 thing, but a lot of the weapons you pick up, although I don't know if it's a specific manufacturer, there's like an alternate fire mode. So
interesting.
that SMG, for example, I could use it just as an SMG, or I could flip to another firing mode which shot rockets. I'm like, I don't know if that's maybe, Borderlands, every manufacturer has a thing that defines those guns. I'm like, maybe that's that manufacturer's thing.
Because I know it used to define sort of like the elemental damage, or kind of like the style of weapon they were.
Yeah, or like you would have a manufacturer. It's like, our thing is we just have ammo magazines are huge drums of ammo. So this weapon reloads quick, and by reload you throw it at the enemy and it explodes and you spawn another weapon.
Oh, I do remember that. That was a good time.
Like there's cool little things like that. So I need to, I don't know, I'm sure there still are staples, but I imagine they've included new things. But yeah, that's, again, it's only opening up, but thus far, like, it feels good, and I'm very keen. This is the most excited I've been for Borderlands in a very long time, so very keen to get stuck into it.
Yeah, I think I'm in the same boat. I didn't really... I think I actually bought Borderlands 3 when it was on sale at some point. I just never opened it. Just, combination of other things to play, and then time passes, and, I know it wasn't received, like, super positively, so I didn't really have a desire to play. But everything I've seen of Borderlands 4 pre-release has got me interested in it again, just from a gameplay perspective, I think. I think the sort of humor or narrative it goes for isn't the reason I've come to these games, but the gameplay improvements look really, really cool. So I'm keen to get stuck in as well.
I also think, just on narrative, look, I don't think anyone's playing Borderlands really for the story. Yeah. But I think Borderlands 2 was genuinely very good purely because of Handsome Jack. And I think like you create one of the best villains, like super funny, super evil. Like, I don't know really how you top that without something truly spectacular or special. And I think in trying to emulate that, I just don't think I think they keep missing the mark, not intentionally, just because the bar was set very high in that game. Like, you want somebody
and trying to kind of like recapture that lightning in a bottle.
And I just think that's very difficult to do that. So, but again, like, I'm not really here for the story. I just want a good loot grind, and
no, you're right. Like, I remember Handsome Jack from Borderlands 2, but pretty much nothing else. Like, I don't actually remember a lot of story beats. I remember him just antagonizing you most of the game, and that sort of thing. Like, characters in Borderlands are the things that stand out. So I'm hoping there's a lot of cool personalities here that kind of stand out in the same way.
Yeah. So we
oh my goodness.
will see. I die.
I can tell you like you're very close to killing him, but Borderlands 4, we'll check in with that as we continue playing. It's a very, very busy September season, so going to be, I think, bouncing to and from a lot of games quite frequently now.
So much coming out. So it's like we had like a little dip, and now it's just like...
I mean, September's been nuts. Just with things... A lot of games were releasing, and then things surprise released as well. We'll talk about it now, but Silksong came out. Hades 2 got an announcement for like later in September. Two of the biggest indie games probably in the next few years, both coming out in the same month, 2 weeks apart from each other, is kind of like unheard of.
What's also wild is that I think the last time we recorded, Silksong didn't have a release date. We kind of knew it was coming out, and then it's like surprise.
It was Gamescom. It was like
it's out now.
Gamescom happened. It's out in 2 weeks. It's actually kind of crazy we haven't recorded since then. But let's get into it. Hollow Knight Silksong is out after what feels like an eternity. I played this game in 2019 at the last E3 that ever happened, and I recall back then being like, oh, this is actually a lot further along than I thought, because I think Team Cherry had already said by then that this was going to be its own game. It was no longer like an expansion or DLC. And what I played there, turns out, was basically just like the first half an hour of the game, because I pretty much saw exactly what I saw in those demos very early on. So it explains why this took another, 6, almost 7 years to come out. This game is really good. I've only played a couple of hours because I've had to bounce onto other things, but I've really enjoyed my time so far, and it's kind of capturing the the things that I really liked about Hollow Knight in general. It's just the sense of exploration and discovering this world that just like keeps growing and growing and growing, and I just really enjoy seeing all these different biomes and different areas and how detailed they are. It's a really beautiful game, and you can tell a lot of work went into handcrafting each of these screens that you see. But I also think that, you know, while it feels very distinctly Hollow Knight, it feels like a lot more of that. I think Hornet offers up a different moveset and a different sort of pace to the game that makes it feel quite different in action. So, for example, you know, she has a I wouldn't say completely different moveset to the Vessel, but one of the big changes she has is she has like a diagonal downward attack as opposed to like a pogo vertical attack, which I've personally had some trouble getting used to, especially in combat, because I just end up whiffing and missing a lot of enemies. But I love how, you know, you jump between platforms and she does a little hop onto them. She feels very nimble in the air, and she's got a lot of cool movement abilities that you unlock very early in the game that just like expand your repertoire both in combat and some pretty challenging traversal, which I've enjoyed wrapping my head around. So yeah, overall I'm having a good time. I'd love to hear your thoughts, because you've played actually a significant chunk of the game, I think.
I'm very interested to know. I haven't seen what the playtime, you know, what is the average duration to reach credits. But I've played 15 hours ish. And man, in those 15 hours, I've seen and done a lot already. So, I mean, you mentioned before we started recording, Hollow Knight was like 30-ish hours, let's say.
Yeah.
And I just remember from that game, the same thing of like, I don't know much about this game. I don't know how long it is. Like, I'm 15 hours and I must nearly be done. Surely, you know, I can't be that far. And just the way that game kept getting bigger and bigger in the best way. I'm like, I think I'm kind of getting towards it. I'm like, oh no, okay, there's this part of the map I've unlocked. Oh no, this leads to a whole, oh my God, zoom out. The map is just huge, and it just kept getting bigger and bigger. And I'm getting that exact same sense here where I agree with you. It feels like it's Hollow Knight, but it's refined in a lot of ways. Like, not that there's anything wrong with Hollow Knight. It just feels like there's just an extra level of polish that you can see. They're using those 7 years. And I've got that thing where, I mean, the one evening I played from like maybe 2 or 3 hours. And in those 2 or 3 hours alone, I found like 5 or 6 areas new. And I was like,
damn,
holy, it was a thing of I hit a new area. I'm like, oh, okay, like I need to come back. I'll come back to this area. Let me just go finish exploring this area. In that other area, stumble upon another area. I'm like, okay, I'll come back to this. You know, I just want to finish. And I just had that in spades. And I was just like, whoa, it's exactly the same thing where it just keeps getting big in the best ways. And then how some areas fold into themselves as like, oh, like I've popped out here. That's cool. It's just been such a joy to explore. And again, you can see the level of, you know, 7 years paid off. Just the level of detail in each frame. I mean, you're looking at the forefront, obviously, where the action's happening. But if you look at the background and the animations and the things happening in the background and just these little touches, the sound effects, probably one of my favorite things in this game. There's so much care and craft into every little aspect of Farloom. It's been really, really fun to play. And in terms of movements, Hollow Knight really good, but even just right out the gate, one of the first things you get with Hornets is her dash, but it's like a sprint. And it just makes getting around, it just feels so much fun. You know, when you start
the little
dashing,
like jump you can launch yourself with on a sprint just feels so good. Yeah.
Initially, I was like, "Oof!" Like they're giving it to us so early. Like how could they?
Because I remember in Hollow Knight you got it. It was like your 3rd or 4th ability.
Yeah, the dash. But even then,
early.
It was like movements, not in a bad way, but movement still felt static because the vessel didn't move particularly fast. You like ended up dashing to like cover distance quickly. Here it's like, oh, I'm gonna backtrack quickly to get something. You just like sprint and you like do it relatively quickly. Once you've got like a map open and you know where to go, it's actually surprisingly quick to get across. You know, if you're not dying to all the million enemies on the way. But yeah, it's been such a joy to explore. And I do wonder how long the game is, because I've done and seen a lot, and I've only played 15 hours. I'm like, oh my god, what else do they have in store in this game? Although granted, in that time, I've spent a lot of time doing side quests, which I feels maybe, correct me if I'm wrong, Hollow Knight did have side stuff, but it was less formal. It's kind of like, oh,
Yeah.
you need to go do this thing. But here in Silksong, there's an actual thing in your menu. You can go like, okay, you've promised somebody you're going to do this. This is what you need to do.
Yeah, it's like tracked for you.
Yeah.
I mean, Hollow Knight had one of the big side quests was rescuing all those little caterpillars stuck in jars. I remember that. There's like a similar one here with, I think they're like fleas, if I'm not mistaken.
AK dogs.
Oh yeah, fluffy dogs. But there's also like a bounty board in the main city that you can just grab side quests for and get rewards. I think the side quests are fairly simple. It's like go here, kill X number of enemies and pick up, you know. But you get some cool rewards from them, and it's just something to do while you're exploring the world, I think.
Yeah.
There's a lot of similarities to Hollow Knight. I think in terms of structure, it will feel very similar, and some of the areas that people felt a bit annoyed about are still here, but I think some of them have been smoothed over a little bit. So like the big one to me is the map system. I know a lot of people don't like this map system, especially from Hollow Knight. And I think a lot of it has been improved here. I find it's a lot easier to find the merchant who gives you maps
100%.
and very quick to buy the maps. You also have different pins that you can use on the map to like mark special areas or automatically mark benches and merchants, which was also in the first game. I think the biggest thing that slightly, well, not like irritates me, but I don't feel like it should have been done this way, is having the compass take up a slot in your inventory. I know it was like that in the first game, but I just don't understand it.
Yeah.
I don't get it, because like I bought it, I equipped it, and I highly doubt I'll ever unequip it. So it just feels like I've now like burnt an equipment slot that I'll never use for something that I think should just be a standard feature. Like, I want to know where I am on the map. I don't think that should be, contingent on like something that I've equipped. So that's the only thing that I feel like they should have just learned from first game. Just give that as an innate ability, or something that you purchase similar to the quill that always, it maps out areas you've been to automatically. I don't have to have that.
Thank God you don't have to equip that.
Yeah, could you imagine? It would be insane.
Yeah, that would be.
So I think the compass should have been like that, but it's not too terrible when you consider like how much more flexible you can be with Hornet in terms of like builds. You have way more options to choose from in terms of like abilities that you want to use and special abilities and charms that you equip to like empower yourself in different ways. I think there's way more here to kind of make her play the way you want, rather than the vessel, who was, I think, quite limited in that regard.
I think I agree with you. There's definitely more tools, but I don't know. There's this. Maybe I'm misremembering, but in Hollow Knight, it was a pin system, right? Where you had like, you could equip a number of passives and things. It feels like, even in my opening 15 hours, I've got stuff, but I remember in Hollow Knight, you could almost do like a build where it's like, okay, if you equip this pin, you get more like soul, whatever, from attacking enemies. Or if you get hit, you'll like a gas cloud will come out of you that will damage enemies, for example, whatever it was. It feels like there's more, there's like a focus more on the tools and utility here versus that. But maybe that's just me, or maybe I still need to unlock a lot more stuff. I don't know. But that said, the tools Hornet gets feel very good. Like they use what's the main currency? It's not, apart from rosary beads, the other one, shards.
Oh, it's like shards.
It uses shards, but I mean, you get a fair amount of shards that you can use them pretty liberally. And
I feel like I'm always maxed out on shards all the time.
So, because when I realized, I mean, one of the first abilities you get, it's like you can throw like a little thing. I was like, man, that uses shards. Like, I'm barely going to use it. I want to accumulate the shards, until you realize that in this game, they've sort of separated the currency. Shards is used primarily for your utility stuff, and rosary beads are for everything else. So it's like, oh, you actually can be pretty liberal with how you just throw things out, you know? And I've started doing that. I'm like, well, it's clearly, it's going to make my life a lot easier. Let me start using this. And it feels like they actually do stuff. Like, I've got an ability. I throw like a pinwheel. It acts like a trap. So if an enemy walks into it, it does damage, and it's actually pretty good. Like, I think you get access to like 10 of them. I mean, that can make a huge difference in a boss fight. You know, throwing those out to chip away, like, even if it's a fifth or a quarter of the boss's health, like, it makes a huge difference. That said, the game, I think it feels more challenging than Hollow Knight. And again, like, I played Hollow Knight so long ago now. Like, I might be misremembering. Hollow Knight wasn't easy by any means, but I feel like I'm really have to be on my toes with this game. Like, I died a lot in Hollow Knight as well, but this game, like, oh my god, like, I need to really focus to, you know, not die all the bloody time.
Yeah, I think the opening hours are very indicative of that. It doesn't pull any punches from the get-go, and I understand how that can be frustrating, especially with people who come into this game not expecting that. I think there's a lot of people who are playing Silksong without having never played Hollow Knight, and so that expectation is more on Metroidvania exploration and not necessarily like this Dark Souls sort of approach to difficulty. I think it takes a while to get used to. I do think it is harder than Hollow Knight. Like, I also played Hollow Knight a while ago, but I don't remember being this almost like frightened about every enemy encounter that I'm in. It's a bit brutal, and along, you know, there's a lot of criticism around how enemies take like 2 pips of your health sometimes, and some of the balance, and I get that. Like, there's discussion to be had there, but I don't feel as though it's unfair. I feel as though when I finally get into the rhythm of killing an enemy, it's like, oh, okay, I can do this over and over again. And the game sort of understands that, because enemies that were previously like mini bosses or, you know, enemy arenas start popping up more and more frequently. And so you just kind of like learn how to cope with them a bit more. The one area that I find slightly irritating is the number of flying enemies. I just don't like them. And they really piss me off. There's that one area early on where there's just a bunch of birds that constantly attack you, and that was just incredibly frustrating at certain times. But yeah, I think it's a difficult game, and I think people will either mesh with that or not. I think the one thing that I can agree with a lot of the critique on that I've started running into is there's a lot of runbacks, especially with the bosses. So it's not that there are runbacks, it's just the length of them. There doesn't seem to be very accessible benches near big fights, and so, you know, you have to learn enemy or boss patterns, and you do that through dying quite a bit, and it just feels annoying to have to run through incredibly dangerous areas to get back there, and often I found die along the way. So I think that could be tuned a bit better. I mean, I've read a lot of discussion around how even Dark Souls has moved away from that. Like, you look at Elden Ring, and you had the Stakes of Marika, and like that has completely eradicated runbacks. And I think that's not a case of making games easier. It's just removing unnecessary frustration. So I could see Team Cherry changing that. Like, I could definitely see them patching or altering this where they maybe put benches near bosses. But that is the one aspect currently that I think is maybe a bit too punishing for its own good. But that's like it's a small thing that I'm adapting to. And it's not in any way a game breaker to me. It's not like, oh, okay, well, I'm not going to play this game anymore because I'm quite frustrated by that. I think it is just that style of game, and you're either going to like mesh with it or not. You know, but there are small things that I think could be improved in that regard.
No, I think I agree with you. Just to go back to what you said earlier about the game is difficult, but at no point I feel that it's unfair necessarily. Like, there's a difference between like, I don't know how to put that into words, but you get games that are difficult, but they're like fair in how they punish you, versus games where it's like, oh, like this boss one hits you, like, but like that just that's not fun. Like, I haven't even learned this boss. Even the fact that it takes 2 pips of damage is like, but it still takes 3 hits before you die. So there's time to like juggle and learn and whatever. I feel that it's fair. Like, at no point when I'm dying to a boss, I'm like, oh, I can't believe the. Like, a good example is in Elden Ring. Like, loved Elden Ring. One of the biggest flaws of bosses was Millennia. Just had one attack that ended
that
you.
instantly kill you.
It wasn't easy to learn how to dodge that. It's like it took a lot of trial and error before it's like, oh, I should just like run away. Like, the moment there's that animation, I need to run. But before that, it was just straight up. There was just no avoiding it, and that frustrated a lot of people. Whereas other bosses, it's like there's this fair balance of you'll get hit once or twice, but you can always heal. You're never going to go from full health to no health unless there's something like an overpowered move, whatever. It's usually telegraphed, and I feel that Silksong's fair in that regard. Like, even with the 2 pips of health, you still can take 3 hits. So I think it's on you to like be a little bit more cautious in how you explore. That said, the run back is a friction point. I mean, Elden Ring, even they've learned from, like, listen, we'll just put you right outside the boss room. The bosses are harder.
Yeah.
We'll remove the friction of running back to them so you can learn how to fight the harder boss, It's instead of having 2 hours of run backs, we'll make you have 2 extra hours of fighting the boss. But it's just dressed differently. And I think what's the problem here is that getting to the boss is a mission initially, okay? But there's no like, oh, thank God, a bench. Now I can go fight the boss. It's like, oh, this is a boss arena. Oh God, I've died. Oh no. I've got to run back here. Oh, there's no, let me explore around the boss arena. Oh, there's actually no bench around yet. This is just the best way to get to the boss. That's the problem. And that's probably...
that's the thing that I thought I was missing. I'm like, surely there's like a shortcut here that I'm like not seeing. And it just doesn't seem that there is. It's like purposefully designed not to be like that, which is just weird.
I think the problem is that you will find there's a shortcut. Like, there'll be a level that folds back on itself, but you can only find that after you've fought the boss, for example.
Yes,
which is like,
I found that a lot. Yeah. It's the one pain point I've had, and even when it comes to like, so that bird area I was talking about earlier, there's a boss arena there where I frustratingly just hit my head against it. I was like, I need to beat this. Like, it's like 3 waves of different bird enemies. But the run back there was like ridiculous. And then on top of it, the scale of the fight was like quite big. So I died many times. I think I spent like an hour plus like just trying to do this. And then the reward at the end wasn't really worth it. But it was satisfying to finally beat that challenge. I just wish that half that time was me being able to actually engage with that challenge rather than like running through 5 or 6 screens of other birds trying to attack the shit out of me, which is slightly annoying.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's like my biggest pain point currently. That and it ties in with the runbacks, but you lose a lot of currency when you die and don't recover your little cocoon thing, and the rosary economy is quite brutal. I know it's something they've already patched.
It just sounds funny to say that, like, the rosary economy, like, oof, man, times are tough. What did they patch?
So they've made certain things cheaper. So benches to unlock benches and fast travel points. It just be made cheaper. That's kind of them balancing that.
Yeah.
And I think that's the right call, because I think early on, just getting to a bench and not being able to unlock it is like feels like shit. It's just not great. But I think it didn't take long for me to not have that issue. But by the same token, it's made like every death very tense because you want to keep those things. And I think that ties into the difficulty. It has to feel tense to make each of these skirmishes feel impactful and meaningful. And that's what I remember from Hollow Knight. So I'm not shying away from that here. I just think there's certain elements that maybe are too difficult for their own good, but it's not detracting from the overall like fun I'm having with the game.
No. I mean, there's a whole discussion to be had about like an easy mode. Like, would it have been impossible for teams at Cherry just to say like, here's an easy mode, every attack just does 1 damage?
Yeah,
like, they could, and I get it. Like, it removes from their vision, and this is how the game's meant to be played. But you immediately turn off people going like, the game's too hard, I'm just not going to play it.
Yeah.
Like, well, you and I will play it the way it's meant to be played, like normal mode, whatever you want to call it. It doesn't take away from my experience to have an easier option for other people. I don't know. In 2025, I know it's a touchy point because people are like, no, like you can't do that. I'm like, even Elden Ring found a way. It's not as on the nose, but the fact that you can have a summon or a group of summons, you can have a mimic tier. It's like, it meant people that would never have played the game have played and loved Elden Ring. I'm like, well, I'm sorry that friends I know are just not going to engage with Silksong because like it's just going to be too hard. I'm like, but you're missing out on one of the most gorgeously animated and like designed games. But I can't be mad at you because I acknowledge it's very difficult.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how, just in our friend circle, there were a couple of people who jumped in on Elden Ring just because of not necessarily how much easier it was compared to other Dark Souls games, but the sort of sense of exploration in the world enticed them to deal with the difficulty. And like you said, there were also tools to kind of mitigate some of that. I wonder, a lot of them are playing Silksong and enjoying it thus far. I'm curious to see if they hit a roadblock where they go, okay, no, this is too much. I really want to keep exploring this world and uncovering its secrets, but like the combat is becoming too much of a sticking point, and then not having options to kind of mitigate that.
No.
It's interesting. I think as well, we come from different perspectives in terms of how much free time we have, and I totally understand that some people are like, well, listen, I've got a limited amount of time to play games in the evening or something like that. Like the last thing I want to do is spend 3 hours fighting one boss, or
for sure.
3 hours fighting one boss, but 2/3 of that is just running to the boss. Like I get that, but I also get that Team Cherry wants to make a game in a specific way and should be allowed to do that, but it doesn't mean it's free of critique. I think it's a long way of saying like Silksong's not a perfect game. I didn't think Hollow Knight was a perfect game. I think it was very close. But I'm still having a fantastic time with it, and I'm not like going, oh God, will I actually finish this game? I'm like, yeah, I absolutely will finish this, but it might just take me a bit longer than I expected.
Yeah. No, I'm the same where but I mean, that's just how I am. I welcome the challenge. I'm like, yes. The more difficult it is, the more I'm like, the stubbornness in me, like, I will beat this game. So perfect for me. I'm all in. Just thoroughly enjoying it. It's
I do want to say quickly, Hornet as a character is very, very cool. I think for two reasons. One, seeing her unlock a lot of the abilities that she absolutely like destroyed me with in the first game is really satisfying. I've just unlocked an ability, I guess, mild spoilers here, but you get an attack early on, which is like you throw a big like spear, which consumes some of your silk. But later on, I got that ability where she like hovers in the air and like whips like silk around and damages enemies. Like you can do like 4 or 5 attacks if you just hit an enemy in the middle of that thing and like almost like insta kill them. And that is just really cool because I remember dying to that so often. Fighting her as the vessel, and it's just cool to kind of like turn those attacks on other people and get to use them. Also, secondly, she talks, which I wasn't expecting for some reason. But it makes sense. She talks in Hollow Knight, like she converses with you all the time. Your character, the vessel, just never responded. So it was weird the first conversation I had to see like a character portrait and like, oh, Hornet's like replying to all of these people. Like she actually has agency in the story, which I think is actually really cool. She's got a cool personality.
There's a lot to be said about like a silent protagonist, and I mean, there are times where I absolutely love it. The Half-Life's the perfect example where I'm like, you don't need to talk. Hollow Knight's great example, but there's times where it's misused. Where I think I always go to the Dishonored example, where it's like, oh, you murdered the princess, and your dude like watched somebody else do it, but just says nothing. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense to me. It's like the dumbest silent protagonist thing. Where this is also completely unexpected, but I'm here for it. Hollow Knight, I think, worked because you were just this dude stumbling onto this kingdom where Hornet is this person who's been taken. It's like, what the fuck's going on here? I'm gonna.
It also helped that he was like called the vessel. He had like nothing in him. You know what I mean?
Nothing. this is very cool. It's like she's completely engaging, and you're like, oh, she's actually. I mean, she was like this antagonist in the first game who like slowly you figure out it's like, oh, she's actually an ally, whatever. But it's actually nice to see how compassionate she is. She's like very cold and stoic, but the times where she's like, no, like you must hide, or like she's very protective and like a lot warmer than I thought she would be. And it's actually really nice to see, because I would never have expected that, you know.
Yes, yeah.
So
she's got some cool lines. She's got a bit of attitude, but it's like,
yeah, for sure.
It's not annoying, you know what I mean?
No, it's something I didn't expect from the game. You're right. Nice that she got her own voice.
I'm just watching your footage, and I'm curious. Are you using the diagonal or the downward slash? Because the way you like pogoing of people is very impressive.
I'm using a crest, which is a different attack moveset.
Okay. Thought so, because I was like, I can't do that.
No.
I don't know how you're timing that so
no,
perfectly.
I think the diagonal, I used it. I completely used it, and I think I found the best way to mitigate the diagonal is just to use it as close as possible, which I guess defeats the purpose. That said, if you nail it, it can be, pun semi-intended. If you nail the down attack, you can like bounce off enemies, which is very fun. But you'll see, you're going to unlock crests that give you just like different move sets, and I've got 4 of them. I don't know how many the game has. I imagine there's still more, maybe not.
Yeah.
But the one I'm using now, I'm like, this is the best one. I absolutely love it. And it's funny because it to me, it kind of unintentionally it mimics the Hollow Knight's attacks very similarly, with like some different flourishes. And it just feels the best to me at the moment. But I have swapped around.
It's super interesting to me that they included that, because I don't know. It's almost like an admission that, oh, maybe this diagonal attack is going to be a bit weirder or harder to use. But I don't know. I haven't got that crest, and I'm still getting used to that diagonal.
We'll talk about it when you get it. There's, it's like feels similar to Hollow Knight, but there's differences to it, which you'll see when you get it.
The one thing that's definitely better in that regard, regardless of what you're using, is just Hornet's animations. She just animates with way more personality than the Vessel did. Like the little jumps in the air, the little pirouettes. I think she's just, I can imagine so much time went into just like enhancing what she looks like in motion. And I think my favorite sort of thing, I mean, someone on Twitter pointed it out, and when I saw it, I was like, oh, right, I can't believe I didn't see that first. She mimics so much movement from Alucard in Symphony of the Night.
Yeah.
Like the way she like changes direction when you move. She doesn't immediately turn.
Yeah.
It's so good. And I don't know if you've seen videos, but they've compared a lot of movements between Hornet and Alucard, and it's almost like the same character control. And that's really cool, because that game just feels phenomenal as well. So it's just it's a neat little touch, and I quite like it. I love how silly she looks when her little dress inflates when you're hovering down, and I love how it twirls as you run, or the little like backflip she does when she kicks off an enemy. It's just really good stuff that I don't tire from seeing.
I mean, when you vault up a ledge and you jump and she does a forward flip, I'm like, this is great.
So good. so good. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's interesting. There's a lot of little touches I'm still seeing. Like for example, I figured out just that if you sprint, stop, and then jump backwards, she does a backflip.
What?
I'm like, it's just these little touches that you'll either find or not, but the fact that they're there, I'm like, this is incredible.
Yeah,
really, really cool.
I think the thing that I found the other day that I always knew I could deflect. Well, I learned early on that I could deflect attacks. Like if you attack when someone attacks, you parry them almost. But I didn't realize I could do that to like massive boss projectiles. Like I was in a fight the other day, and what was it? It was like sort of like a mini boss, and they were chucking big daggers at me, and I just realized, oh, if I attack, it doesn't propel it back to them to damage them, but I can completely mitigate having to dodge this thing just by attacking at the right time. And it's like the game never explains that to you.
No.
It just expects you through play to one time attack and notice that you've actually deflected something, which is really cool. And it feels really good.
I don't know about projectiles in Hollow Knight, but you could deflect, like,
you definitely could,
attacks.
yeah.
But it's interesting because I feel that if I did it in Hollow Knight, it was almost by mistake. Just like, like I just timed that by pure fluke and I deflected that. Whereas I found here, whether intentional or on my part or intentional from a design point of view, I'm pulling it off more. And it's funny because when you fight a boss in this game, for example, in a lot of these games, you find that there's like a rhythm of movements, the thing you learn. So it's like where it's funny how the more you fight a boss, you learn their movements, and your brain does things before you've even, or your body does things before you've even registered. Where it's like, I'm fighting this boss. I'm like, look at me dodge now. I fought this boss a lot now. That the moment I see this, my hands are already moving me away, whatever.
Yes.
And it's cool to get that rhythm. But I found with certain attacks, I'm also like to go back to the deflecting thing, where even in boss fights, I'm like, oh, if I'd like just attack at this specific moment, I'll just quickly deflect it. And like, I honestly don't know if this isn't like a compliment to me thing. I don't know if that's an intentional design thing where like they've made it more obvious or easier to pull off. Like, I don't know. But it's actually footage I missed. Shit, there's one boss fight where, do you remember in Sekiro, there's the one boss you fight where you have to, like, you deflect a couple times. They do like this quick attack and you have to deflect it like 1, 2, 3. I mean, you can do that with Hornets. There's some attacks where they're like flailing, whatever. And if you just keep spamming your attack button, you are like ching, 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 and you deflect.
Yeah, her attacks are incredibly fast.
It feels really good. And I've got some boss footage. I'm like, man, I feel like such a badass. Look at me just like, it's like deflecting this boss, whatever. Yeah, it's so good. Like, there's a lot to be said about, oh, this game took 7 years to come out, and like, what were they doing? And it's like, I think it came out, Jason Schreier did an interview with them, whatever, where they're like, we just didn't have the financial pressure. We just took the time to make this game. It's like, you can see that there was no rush. It's like, we're just going to kick back and we're just going to like put craft into this game, and you can feel it. And it's, difficulty, like our criticisms aside, like you cannot flaw how like masterfully designed this game. Like visually, it's unreal. And that soundtrack,
it's unbelievable.
It's so
good. Is it Christopher Larkin?
Christopher Larkin, yeah.
Yeah, no, he's like outdone himself again. Yeah, I mean the first game's soundtrack is like an all-timer, and I've already been listening to a lot here, and it's just so good. It fits the theme of the game, and I think games like this, they're completely recognizable from across the room. I think we're speaking about Silksong, but I think Hades coming out later this year is the same thing. Like Supergiant has a look to their game and a sound to their game, especially with their soundtracks as well, that is completely theirs. And I think Team Cherry's done that here with Hollow Knight and Silksong. And I think, a lot of the discussion around difficulty could also be attributed to them taking so long with the game. They get so stuck in their ways and understand the game in a way that they don't realize maybe how newcomers might react to that. And I think they could alter that. They might not either. And to me, it doesn't really matter. Like, I'm going to enjoy it on my terms, and if I bounce off of it, I bounce off of it. But knowing how difficult Hollow Knight was, especially with some of the DLCs, I think I'm kind of vibing with this game in the same way, and I'm having a really good time with it.
Yeah. I think we're going to talk about it a lot more.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a long game. It's going to make some appearances in upcoming episodes.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I still need to get to it. I need to catch up to where you are even. So, but I'm enjoying having it on Switch. I mean, that's how I played the first Hollow Knight as well. Looks really good, blown up on a screen. Looks good. I mean, my issues aside with the Switch's like actual display, but it seems fine. Like, I'm enjoying playing in bed and stuff like that.
Yeah, I've said to you, it's actually been pretty bad for my health having it on Switch. Where I actually laughed. That I was chatting to Len. It was like yesterday, the day before. I'm like, I'm just so tired. I'm like exhausted. She's like, why? Why are you so tired? I'm like, I've been going to bed very late. It's like, what time? I'm like, 1:30 every night. She's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm in bed playing
Hollow Knight.
She's like, I had no idea. I'm like, well, you pass out and I'm there just for like if we climb to bed at like 9, 10, 11, like Lenska passes, I'm like, I'm just going to play some Silksong. It's like 2-3 hours. I'm just chilling like, yes. I mean, I'm all in this. I get it. And
then you wake up at 6 a.m. and you're just like,
I think every morning I've woken up, I'm like, man, I got to go to bed earlier tonight. And then inevitably come bedtime, I'm like, man, I'm just going I'm just gonna play some Silksong, you know.
Yeah, I'm just gonna play an hour real quick.
Although
3 hours, 4 hours pass by.
I did not last night because I knew I was getting up this morning. I was like, I need to just have at least a couple hours of good sleep. So
look at the sacrifices you make for the good of the podcast.
Yeah, I climbed into bed and I read instead of playing Silksong, and I slept at a normal time. So go me.
Look at you. Look at you. Responsible.
Yes, yeah.
Cool. That's Hollow Knight Silksong. Yeah, we'll be chatting about it a lot, I think, in the coming weeks.
Yeah.
You also put some time into a different, well, not, I'm going to say roguelike as if like Silksong's a roguelike, but it's not. But another 2D action game.
I'll talk about it very briefly because I want to give it a proper segment and the love it deserves. But I've been playing, and I'm sorry I don't have footage for it. I've been playing the Rogue Prince of Persia, which it shadow dropped as in like, hey, it's out now today on Game Pass, but the game has been in early access prior to that for like a year.
I think about a year, yeah.
Yeah. So it's one of those things when I think, what is the game that came out last year? Also a Metroidvania, Prince of Persia. Very good, underrated.
Lost Crown, wasn't it?
Yeah, Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown. Really, really good game. Go play that game. But what I'm getting at is that game came out, and then soon after, it's like, oh, there's a new Prince of Persia. I was like, what are these people doing? Like, we've just had a Prince of Persia. What I didn't realize is that it's like it's a roguelite. Prince of Persia was in early access. Now it's come out, day one in Game Pass, and I think starting the game up, I was like, it's okay. It's fine. But the more I've played it, the more I've realized I'm like, shit, this is a really, really well-designed, good game. And I think a lot of it comes down to how they've retained, like, if I say to you Prince of Persia, I'm sure one of the first things you'll think of is like, Prince of Persia is about like the movement, the acrobatics, you know, how the prince is very agile and moves around. And they've managed to retain that in a roguelite in a very interesting way, in that I'm really sorry I don't have footage because it's difficult to explain like simply, but if you imagine it's a 2D side-scrolling roguelite, okay? If you imagine like you running along a plane, whatever, and typically like there'll be a background, you know, like, oh, you can see the palace in the background, whatever. But in this game, you'll see certain points there's walls that are like at the forefront almost with you. And they've integrated that into the movement and the acrobatics of the game, where sometimes there's no walls, sometimes there are, but you can like run up the wall, for example, to get to different platforms and stuff. And it's just so cool how they've strung it together where it's a roguelite, but they've integrated some very fun parkour and platforming into it, where it's like, okay, cool. You can jump up, run along this wall, do a dash, run along another wall and land. And it's just, initially I was like, it feels a bit weird, but when you get into it, it reminds me so much of Dead Cells in how its structure is, where it's the same thing where you run along a level and you get to a point like, oh, you can exit into this other level or go this way. You know, there's like a branching thing. But the difference is that in Dead Cells and the Prince of Persia is that there's just this movement now where you can run along walls and parkour your way through, and it just feels very good to do. It's just fun, and that's what makes it stand out for me. It's got the typical staples of, you know, oh, you unlock permanent currency, which you can use to unlock permanent upgrades, you know, more health, more potions, whatever. But structurally, it's very much that. But the twist for me is just this movement, and that gives it this other just difference to games like Dead Cells, and it feels good to play. I want to talk about it more, but I want to have footage to accompany me, and I want to like roll credits where I like do a deep dive into it. But the long and the short of it is that it's a very, very well designed roguelite. And I don't know, is it just me? Does it feel like Prince of Persia is just like, it's this renowned like franchise, but it feels like the last few years has just been underrated. Like, I don't know what it is. It's kind of gets to the limelight, but it doesn't like stay there. I don't know if that's just
it disappeared for a very long time after that. So that there was that sort of like pseudo reboot that was all like cell shaded and completely different prints and different story that I really enjoyed, but didn't really do so well. And then I think straight after that, they did like a more traditional Prince of Persia that was almost like a tie-in for the really terrible film. And then after that, there was just nothing. And, you know, they had the announcement of the remake of the first one, which is still like in limbo. It got like rebooted and all of that. And in between that announcement and now, we've had The Lost Crown, which came out. Everyone seemed to have loved that, but the studio shut down because apparently it didn't sell well. And now
Which
we've got
just criminal, actually.
Yeah, it is criminal. It's yeah. And then we've got Rogue Prince of Persia, which is almost like like Ubisoft licensed it out to the. It's weird. It's the developers of Dead Cells, but it's not the original creators of Dead Cells, because I don't know if you know. Like, I think I always get confused, but I think it's Motion Twin were the original creators of Dead Cells, and then they kind of like handed it off to another developer to continue developing it when they were like, we're kind of done with it. We want to move on to something new. And it's that studio who like continually added content to Dead Cells, put out a lot of those expansions. They're the ones who've done the Rogue Prince of Persia.
Okay.
And
that makes
Motion
a lot of sense.
Twin, the original ones, they're working on Windblown, I think is the other sort of like roguelike. So it's like two different studios, but when people say the creator of Dead Cells or the developers of Dead Cells, it could mean two entirely different teams. And so that one that did a lot of good post-launch work on Dead Cells are the ones who've made this one.
Evil Empire.
It makes sense that they've nailed Evil Empire. That's the one.
I had no idea.
They're the ones I think they are a good fit for this sort of game. Yeah.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense, because honestly, when I think of Rogue, and swear to God, had no prior knowledge of this. Honestly, when I'm playing Rogue Prince of Persia, that's why I use the example. Like, it reminds me so much of Dead Cells, but with the Rogue Prince, like with the Prince of Persia twist and the movements.
Yes.
That is so interesting. Okay, so that makes a lot of sense. To be clear, Rogue Prince of Persia looks nothing like Dead Cells in terms of animation, art style. It's like completely different. Although, man, there's so many similarities now that I think about it. Structurally,
the way you're describing it, it makes it seem like it's more movement and parkour focused rather than Dead Cells. I felt was very combat focused.
Yeah. No, it's the parkour is definitely a focus here.
Okay,
but that's so weird. Sorry. Because even in terms of exploring a map, Dead Cells was a similar thing. Remember in Dead Cells, if you're running along a map, it's like you run along, a lot of the maps feel like you had to go down to like a pit.
Yes.
And then, it's like a dead end, but you teleport back up and you carry on. Rogue Prince of Persia has that as well. And the whole time I've been playing, I'm like, this reminds me so much of Dead Cells. And like, it's not a clone of Dead Cells, to be clear. But there's definitely like a feel to it, like a DNA that has so much similarity. I had no idea it was like the spin-off developer, whatever you want to call them. But that's not a bad thing. Like, the fact that it feels like Dead Cells is actually a really big compliment. Like, I love Dead Cells, played a lot of Dead Cells.
Oh yeah, it's like one of the best roguelites ever made. So I mean, if it can recapture that, then all the best to them. And I think that sets up Rogue Prince of Persia to be another great game going forward as well.
Yeah, I definitely want to talk about it more. There's like a story, there's a narrative that I'm trying to close the loop on. And I imagine like I'll roll credits, but there'll be a lot of post-game content I can do. But I just want to like see that through, because I think it's a really, really great game. But yeah, I feel that Prince of Persia just gets a bad rap, man. Like, this game's out, but who's going to remember it in a year with Silksong, the Hades 2, and all these other big games that have come out around it? And the same with The Lost Crown last year. Like, honestly, one of the best games I played last year, but it launched in like Jan or Feb, beginning of the year, just forgotten. It's a really phenomenal game. Studio closed down. Like, sin. The game was so good, and more people should play it.
Yeah, I never got around to finishing it, but I do want to get back to it because I was having a good time with it. And get to some of those like ridiculous platforming challenges near the end game. That look really fun to do.
Yeah.
I guess the last thing to chat about real briefly as well is I played a bit of Gears of War on a PlayStation, which is kind of insane to say.
We're living in the wildest timeline.
It's really bizarre that it's not even been, I think, when did Gears come out? 2006? Yeah, I think it was 2006. So like just 20 years on, like this marquee Xbox title that was used to sell Xbox 360s, it was a game that Bill Gates spoke about on stage and made Cliff Brzezinski's career. now is on an entirely different platform. And I think it's cool that more people get to play this. I think it would be weird if you've never at least tried Gears of War up until now, and you're kind of in this sphere. But so this is it's like a re-release of the old Gears of War Definitive Edition. So they did this back in the Xbox One days. They took the first game and like spruced it up quite a bit. Wasn't a remake, but it was a remaster of sorts. And they also added in when the game came out on PC, it had an entirely exclusive chapter to it that like took place between acts 4 and 5, and that was never available on console until that Definitive Edition, which is always really strange because it was like a good like 1 to 2 hour like not side story, but like addition to the campaign. And so now that's included here, and the version on PlayStation is essentially that definitive version, just with some slight tweaks to make it run at 4K and support like 120 hertz mode on multiplayer and stuff like that. So content-wise, it's not been changed, and I think a lot of the work done to up-res it is more just like a resolution bump rather than like a big rework on how the game looks and like texture work and stuff like that. I might be wrong, but to me, it doesn't look like that visually different, if that makes sense. Like it looks like a game, an older game. It's just running at 4K. So that I was slightly disappointed by that, just because we've had so many remake projects. You know, you look at things like Dead Space, which is a full-on remake. You look at even some remasters of sorts that have like skirted the line between a remake. This is what you think of when you think of a remaster. It's not a huge amount of difference. This is more to be like Gears of War is on a PS5, and I think that just kind of opens the floodgates to, I mean, they're making a new Gears of War. It's Gears E-Day, I think it is. It's like a prequel. Like, that could not come to PS5. You know, people have played. And you could see, like, Gears 2 and 3 and all the others eventually making their way to PS5. So, yeah. The one thing I am slightly disappointed by is I expected there to be some maybe really cool integration with the DualSense. You know, like, Gears is a very tactile game. You've got, like, the active reload, which doesn't happen on a trigger, but that kind of doesn't elicit a really interesting like vibration from the controller, even though it's a very important feature in each skirmish. You know, the shooting feels fine. It feels very like standard DualSense compatibility. It's like it's got the little resistive trigger to aim down the sights, and the vibration when you shoot is there. I just think, given how visceral and loud Gears is, I think there could have been more done on that front, and that's the only real like disappointment for me. But it's still Gears, and I think Gears of War, you can tell it was made 20 years ago, but it is still a really good, fun like cover-based shooter.
It doesn't say how do you think it holds up?
I think it holds up. I think it's really fun. Like, I played through the first 2 acts and I had a good time. Like, it's cool revisiting those acts, and you can tell, I think combat design has changed quite a bit since then, but it is still really fun to move from, you know, one combat arena to the other and just feel the sort of like crunch of the lancer, or like bring down a big laser from the sky using the Hammer of Dawn. It's just cool to see those things again. And I think if you've never played Gears, and especially so if you've never played it with a friend, I think you should absolutely like play this co-op with someone, because it's really, really fun co-op. And they've smoothed out one of the things where there used to be these areas where you'd hit like a loading screen as you transition between points. I think that's completely removed. So it's like smooth transitions throughout an entire act, which is cool. But I think I played a lot of this initially on Xbox 360 in co-op, and I think it's a really, really fun time to play that way. So I would recommend that if you've never played it. So it's cool. Yeah, like Gears is on a PS5. Weird.
Was Gears of War not the game that sort of defined the... Oh, we got a surprise coffee. Would you look at that? Thank you.
Such service.
Was Gears of War not the game that sort of defined the cover-based shooter?
Yeah, I think when you think of cover-based shooters, you think of Gears. Like, I think it was one of the first... I don't think it was the first one, but it was one that made that system a lot more viable. Like, you stuck to cover and you moved around, and it felt good to like pop in and out of cover. It also popularized the waist-high wall sort of design on
That's exactly what I
a
was
lot of
thinking
shooters.
of. I'm
Yeah,
sure
no, that is attributed very strongly to Gears of War.
Yeah,
So,
maybe not the first game, but I think it was the game that sort of made people go like, huh, cover-based shooting, you know. And I'm pretty Gears did come out before the first Uncharted, so I feel like a lot of games followed.
Yes, yeah. Uncharted was, I think, 2007. Gears was, but even then, Uncharted back then didn't feel like it does in the later games. Like it was very loose.
Very loose. Yeah, that's what I think Gears like nailed it. Where it's like, no, this is like a cover base. You have to get behind cover, or you're gonna die.
Yeah, I mean, for the longest time, it was like this game has a Gears of War style cover system in the same way that like Arkham Knight redefined how a melee system works. You know, in a similar way, like. Games have that style of gameplay now. And I think since then, obviously, it's been a long time. I don't think you attribute a lot of cover shooters to Gears, but that was the era of them. You had like Ghost Recon had cover shooting. You know, you had Uncharted had cover shooting. There were so many games of that era that were just third-person cover shooters, and Gears definitely like set the standard for that.
I think, we just to go back to Gears being on PS5, weirdest timeline. I mean, like Helldivers 2 on Xbox, wildest thing is when it launched. The
I think they were on the same day as well.
Yeah, it was like very close to each other.
Yeah.
But the funniest thing was that trailer, I mean, I'm watching it on an Xbox channel. It's like opens up on Xbox YouTube. It's like PlayStation Studios. I'm like, what is going on here? Like this to see that PS branding on an Xbox channel is just like, it's like.
It's super strange. Yeah,
it's the same. It's the same sort of conversation we'll have with crossplay, where you young uns might not forget, but actually wasn't that long ago. Crossplay was just not a thing. It was just an unspoken thing of like, if you're playing this on PlayStation, you better have PlayStation friends because that's the only people you're going to play with. And same with PC and Xbox. I mean,
you only have to look back like 10,
not that long
15
ago.
years for like Call of Duty. Like for the longest time, Call of Duty was the Xbox franchise because it had the marketing deals, it had more players there. And so, you know, Xbox 360 lived and died on Call of Duty because like everyone flocked there for multiplayer because that's where the bigger player base was.
Yeah.
And when Sony started like getting that back and had the marketing deals and, you know, competitive COD was played on PlayStations, then it shifted that whole mindset to PlayStation. And now suddenly most Call of Duty sales were on PlayStation, not on Xbox, because that's where the player base was. It doesn't matter now.
No.
Like people are playing on whatever console they want and they get to play with console or PC people. That's just like it. We take it for granted. You're right. And it's such a new thing that like Fortnite got in trouble for activating it without permission by Sony. Remember, like Fortnite just put it on and they were like, look, we can do this, but the console makers aren't allowing us to do this. And now it's just a thing that everyone's allowed to do.
What is hilarious though is that I could be misremembering. This could be actual fake news, but it's funny where I'm almost like, we need to be thankful that Epic did that, because I think for the longest time, PlayStation it's just not possible. It's just our infrastructure, and it's like, no, it's like, it's not literally flicking a switch, but it's like, actually, it's not as complicated as you're making it out to be. Like, just open the floodgates.
It was all a money thing. Like, think of microtransactions on each platform and how Sony and Microsoft take a cut. They don't want to be like, hey, you can't play with items you've bought on a different platform on our platform. We want a cut of that. And now it's like, I guess that's just not cared about anymore. Also, a lot of these things have been extracted so that it's very difficult to take cuts from anything because it like exists in its own little ecosystem. So it is weird. Like, you're right. We take it for granted. It is a funny time. It's cool that we have it though, because I think it's way better to not have to be like, cool, what platform are we buying this game on? It's just like, no, play on whatever platform. Now the big thing is like communication. But thankfully Discord's being available pretty much anyway is helping. Yeah.
But now answer me this. Can I play Gears of War on my PlayStation crossplay with you on your Xbox, for example? Is that possible? 2025, man. Best time.
I'm pretty sure that's possible. Yeah. Crazy. Jumping in a lobby for Gears and not knowing which console they're coming from. It's wild. There is a weird thing though, because I think this is the same for Helldivers, but I know on PC you could log into on PC you had to log into your PSN accounts. I think on Xbox you have the option to. It's the same with Gears on on PlayStation, like when you first load it up, it's like, hey, do you want to link your Microsoft account? Do you have a Microsoft account?
Yeah.
And if you do that, when you unlock achievements on PlayStation, it pops them on Xbox at the same time, which is super weird.
Double
It's
achievements.
kind of wild.
Say no more.
Yeah. I mean, it's the thing that was always rumored on Nintendo Switch when we went through that year of Game Pass is coming to Nintendo Switch. You're just going to log into your Microsoft account and all of that's just going to work. And it's like, I mean, that never happened. And looking back on it, like, what the hell were we thinking Nintendo was going to do that? But I think this is now the next play. Is like, no, put games on other platforms, get money from that. Because, I mean, Microsoft has seen a lot of success with that. Forza
100%.
was like the best-selling game on PlayStation earlier this year, which is nuts. And in the same breath, you get accounts signed up for Microsoft accounts from people. You get information from them. You entice them to join your ecosystem. It's all a big brain like play on that front as well.
But it's so interesting. Like the people who end up winning, actually, like, I know companies make a lot more money, but as gamers, we're winning. Like,
yeah, 100%.
and I don't understand. Like, you can still go to any social media post and you'll go to a Helldivers post on Xbox, and people are like, oh, but we played it on PlayStation a year ago. And it's like, who cares?
Who cares? Yeah.
Like, who actually cares? It's like, just the console wars are over. Just let people play
they're gone.
where they want.
It's
it doesn't
over.
matter.
Yeah.
PlayStation and Xbox will keep doing that thing where, like, even that, it's like Indiana Jones came out on Xbox. It didn't take long to go to PlayStation. But I do think, I don't, maybe I'll eat my words in a few years, but I think PlayStation are still going to keep their studio stuff to themselves in PC, which is fun.
Yes.
But imagine one day they're like, you know what? Microsoft's had it right. Put Bloodborne on Xbox and PC.
Sure, that'll
Can
be
you
the
imagine?
day. Could you imagine that coming to Xbox before PC? There'd be actual riots on the
But
streets.
I mean, it's if you're an exec and like, oh my god, we have targets to hit. I'm like, well, I can tell you how easily you can make more money. Just put it on, and Microsoft figured that out.
I mean, if you had told me earlier this year Helldivers would bridge that divide, I would have said you're insane. So I think I get what you're saying. I don't think we'll see like a God of War or a Ghost of Tsushima on Xbox anytime soon, if ever. But like Helldivers was a massive success for Sony. It's not like they were thinking, well, how are we going to generate more money from this game that clearly didn't hit on our platforms? And it's just really weird that that's the one they brought over. But it is cool. And like you say, there are people very strangely who are mad about this thing. But I remember seeing a lot of positive sentiment when Helldivers 2 came out on Xbox of PlayStation players hopping in and helping
to help 100%.
new players like level them up and guiding, like sherpering them through the game, and that's really cool. Like there's cool community moments like that.
Can we have more
to be had? So yeah, it'd be really good. I'm really curious because I think a Forza Horizon is going to be announced sometime this month. There's all this talk about Tokyo Game Show and Microsoft returning to the Tokyo Game Show for the first time, and a Forza Horizon set in Japan potentially being announced. And I do wonder if that is like the last big marquee title that Microsoft has, and now they've released, Forza Horizon 5 on PlayStation. Does that come to PlayStation day and date? Curious. Yeah.
I don't know.
We'll see.
You have to believe that somebody at Microsoft, so we've pivoted from this, we'll end with Gears, but you have to believe somebody at Microsoft was like, guys, Forza Horizon, best-selling PS5 game. Can we not just launch it on the same day? Like,
I think it's going to be same day. I genuinely, like, sort of like a Call of Duty thing. I don't think they do the Indiana Jones and wait. I think a lot of those games that had like timed exclusivity were because of previous comments made during the acquisition, and I just don't think Doom simultaneously released across everything. So yeah, and why won't Forza?
Maybe it won't become reality, but I have to believe that at some point, certainly you go like, actually, why are we sticking to this like old, thinking of just everything has to stay on our platform and like maybe PC? Like, what harm is there in putting Horizon and God of War and on Xbox? Like, there's a whole player base there that will play your game. There's nothing to lose, honestly.
Yeah.
I don't know. And the thing is, you still own the studio, so you're still making the money.
I guess the difference here is that Microsoft has a lot more to gain from doing that than Sony does, just because of the
for sure.
console counts. Like Microsoft is opening themselves up to a market of 60, 70 million consoles sold, while Sony's like, well, are we going to put in this work to target another 20, 30 million people?
Yes.
There's like
Why
two
not?
very different markets there. Well, I mean, I get it. I think if Sony was in a bit more of a precarious position, it would happen already, but I do think it will happen eventually. I just don't know when.
I don't know when, but I have to believe it will happen. It's one of those things where so we are going to land this plane soon. Okay, I'm just having a lot of fun talking about this, but think about BlackBerry. Okay, BlackBerry were the phone, like they owned the phone space for many, many years, and then they just refused to adapt. They're like, no, BlackBerry is BlackBerry. We're going to keep our phones as they are, and like, where's BlackBerry today? Like, I don't think that'll happen to Sony, but it's a thing of like, Sony can very quickly be humbled, I think, if they just don't adapt. And I'm not talking like next year, Sony, I'm talking like long, super long run, like in 10, 20 years, if Sony is still sticking to this thing and they're like, no, we will not do this. I'm like, well, why not? Like, I don't know. I just want PlayStation to
I mean,
survive.
especially
like,
in this age where consoles are getting more and more expensive and the buying power of people is less and less. Like, I think Microsoft approach, people give them shit for this everything's an Xbox sort of campaign, but like it makes sense. It 100% makes sense if you are staring down the barrel of a $700-800 console and you're like, wait a minute, I can just stream games to this device I already have, or I can play the games I have on a PC or stuff like that. Like, I agree with you. I don't think they're going to disappear like a BlackBerry, but I think Sony will have to adapt to the new way that the industry works. On that note, there is a movie called BlackBerry. Very good. Would recommend. I watched it the other day. I think it came out like 2 years ago. It was like a biopic about BlackBerry and its origins. Really interesting. Would recommend. I think it's on Netflix. Yeah.
That this is an Xbox. When I saw that, I thought it's genius. Like people,
it's genius. No, it's a genius.
It's so
movie,
clever. I'm like, whoever came up, give that copywriter a raise.
I just don't understand why people find it funny. I'm like, this is great. You can play
so
anywhere.
Smart, honestly. Like when I think it's because you could make it a meme, like this is an Xbox. No, it's not. Okay, but it is. It's just a thing of like every electronic device could be an Xbox, your TV, your phone, whatever. I'm like, that's so clever. Let people play anyway. Like, what harm is there in that? So,
the only thing they need to do now is bring streaming capabilities to more countries. Then everything truly is an Xbox.
Yeah, 100%.
In South Africa. That'd be great.
South Africa. So, anyways, Gears of War. It's cool. Yes, we were going to do a quick little segment, and that turned into a nearly 20 minute.
It's an interesting discussion, and Gears is just like, it is the, I think we've said for a long time that every new game that comes to PlayStation is like, no, this is the dropping of the curtain, this is the one that opens the floodgates. Gears of War it is fundamentally an Xbox brand. Like, it is the Xbox brand. The only remaining one is Halo. Like, when Halo on a PlayStation is like, all bets are off. That is, Halo was marketed as, a PlayStation killer. It was the thing that Sony chased with Killzone to try and like take down. Halo was fundamentally one of the big reasons the 360 won in that generation. And to see that come to PlayStation, which it absolutely will, like, it's a question of when, not if.
Listen.
Yeah.
The marketing person to me is like, you can market it. Was the PlayStation killer, now it's a PlayStation filler. Like, come on.
Oh, let's go. Let's go. How long until we get a PlayStation 5 and a Xbox ad being like, this is an Xbox? Come on.
I'm telling you.
Could you imagine that?
Could you do that? Because you can play Xbox through a browser. So can you stream your Xbox stuff through your PlayStation browser? Has somebody done this?
I imagine so. I think if it's possible, someone's definitely done it.
It has to be done.
Yeah. I mean, it's an Xbox. You're playing with your Microsoft account with Xbox Studio Games on there. Don't see why not.
And okay, we need to land this plane because I can talk about Game Pass, and I think that's genius as well, but we won't get into that.
If they're really smart on the copywriting side, they won't just put a PlayStation in frame. They'll have like a TV and a PlayStation next to it and just say, this is an Xbox. Like, are you talking about the TV? Are you talking about the
100%,
PlayStation?
yeah.
Who knows? Yeah.
Sounds like a lawsuit just waiting to happen, but I'm with you.
Yeah. Oh,
I'm
good
there
time.
with you.
Yeah, that's Gears on PS5. If you've never played Gears, it's great. It's a really good campaign, and I wish there was a bit more done to this version, but I also can't really bemoan it if this is a way to just kind of like test the waters with Gears on PlayStation. Also, the multiplayer is just really fun still. So yeah.
Gears of War 1, the only Gears of War I've ever played on PC.
Really? Mm-hmm. It's a good time. It's a really good time. Gears, I don't think 2 and 3 came to PC. So
no, it's funny. That's the only reason I played is because I didn't own an Xbox. I'm like, okay, well, there's Gears of War 1 through 4 at the time, and I played. I'm like, but let me play Gears 1. Oh, it's really cool. It's a shame I can't play anything past it.
If I'm not mistaken, 4 and 5 are on PC, but yeah, 2 and 3 are just missing. Yeah. 2, 3, and Judgment are not on PC. It would be cool to see them come to PC, but there's been a lot of rumors about definitive editions being done for those two as well, so that would be cool. Because I think Gears of War 2 specifically is a really good campaign. Yeah. I thoroughly enjoyed that game. So,
nice.
Yeah. Cool.
Well, there we go.
That is, I think that's it. That's episode 275 of Checkpoint Chat. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of games coming out. September's stacked. October looks even more stacked. So I think we'll be having a bit more frequent episodes just because there'll be a lot to talk about. But definitely expect more Silksong impressions. We'll hopefully get to see more of the Rogue Prince of Persia next time. And then we are like 2 and a bit, not even 2 weeks away from Hades 2 coming out. Like, I've played it a lot in early access. Matty's never played it, so I'm very curious for us to chat about that. It's, in early access, been really good, so I'm very keen for the 1.0 launch. Because I stopped playing it quite a while back after I was like, cool, I've seen what I needed to see.
Yeah.
Also, beating the last boss and being like, hey, this story's not done. And you're like, okay, cool, I think I've scratched everything I could on this game. Yeah, I'm very keen to see that through. And then, there's Metroid coming out later this year. There's a bunch of Nintendo games and
Ghost of Yote.
Ghost of Yote. Apparently, review codes are out for that in other regions already, so that's crazy. And then there's apparently a Sony showcase at the end of September as well. So who knows?
Where they're going to announce Bloodborne 2.
Or we might see Wolverine.
That'd
Wolverine.
Be cool. Okay, we don't have Silksong anymore. Okay, we need like a thing that's impossible that we want to
Star Citizen.
So, no. No, an actual game.
I think Metroid was that. Metroid Prime 4 got announced before Silksong, which is kind of nuts.
All these people like waiting for these magical mythical games, actually getting them. Like, what am I gonna wait for?
What am I going to scream for in a Nintendo Direct after this? I'll be real. Like, okay, I don't want to prolong this anymore, but I watched that Nintendo Direct. I saw the Metroid Prime 4 stuff, and the open world stuff like soured me a little bit. I was like, do we need this? No. Do we need a Samus on a motorbike in an empty desert? Like, it's a Metroidvania. Like, why put that there?
Can we Nintendo Directs? Okay, we're going to land this plane soon, but first. Nintendo Directs, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Nintendo were the company that did the Direct, and people were like, that's actually really smart. We can just do a digital Direct. We can just copy this formula. It worked. It's like a 30-minute, hour-long segment. You just string together trailers. Cool. Okay, but Nintendo, we need to talk. Your formula is fucking stale, and I'm over it. Okay, can we?
Yeah, I agree.
String together the trailers, but just lose the upbeat, terrible puns. Oh my god, I hate it. I hate it so much.
It's so overplayed.
It's like, and now
also the pacing on that Direct was way off. It was just strange.
The like the English dub, whatever you want to call it. It's like, and now for an adventure on a farm, and it's like a game called like Farm Adventure 3, and I'm like, oh my god, like Nintendo, please, just stop it.
It just comes off as so insincere. It's just,
and then you have dude, the Nintendo dude is like, oh, that was Farm Adventure 3, but we've got something else for you. And I'm like, no, stop it. Just stop. Like, I love you, but you need to stop it now, please.
But I think that they also lack like, Nintendo. This is the same for Apple. Like I watched Apple's iPhone event, and I really missed the getting to the end of it, and Steve Jobs being, and one more thing. There was fuck all of that this time. Like Tim Cook was just like, yeah, cheers, iPhones. That's cool.
Like,
that's
wow.
all that was.
Okay, cool.
Such a known quantity, and I feel like the directs are becoming a known quantity. Like people were screaming about Silksong because it's like the one thing that would be surprising. But even this time, they ended the direct being like, and here's one more thing: a new Fire Emblem. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yay.
Like, that's cool.
Like Nintendo's running out of that surprise factor as
Yeah.
well, and that's slightly concerning. I think. Also, this direct was huge because it was the longest direct
an
ever.
hour.
I think.
It was more
it was
than an
massive.
hour.
And there was all this expectation because it's Mario's 30th anniversary. 30th?
Yeah, it's
40th? I don't know.
No, it's more. It's like the 35th
it
or 40th
40th?
or something. Yeah, it's
35th.
insane.
It might be 35th. I think you're right. It's the anniversary, or it was on Friday or Saturday. And so there was this big expectation for this Mario because you know what we don't have announced for a Nintendo Switch 2 yet? A
Mario.
fucking 3D Mario. And so we got the announcements of the movie, Mario Galaxy movie. That's pretty cool. Also got like remasters of Galaxy 1 and 2, which, Galaxy 1 already existed. Also, they are $40 each. Are you insane?
I missed that. So Galaxy 2 is coming to... You got to play Galaxy 1.
No, I do.
Yeah.
I do. I need to play
But
Galaxy
$40
1 and
each
2.
is like ludicrous.
$40 each is egregious. That's just insane. And then there was no other Mario. Like, what are you doing? That surely you would use this time to be like, we are working on a new Mario or something like that.
I don't know. Nintendo are very coy at that sort of thing where any other studio, PlayStation, Xbox, indie, would be like, oh, like, okay, but Silksong being the exception, but like, okay, we are working on but Nintendo have done that. They're like, when Breath of the Wild, we were waiting for Tears of the Kingdom, like, where's the sequel? Eventually Nintendo like, oh, hey, we're working on the sequel, but it's just taking longer. Okay.
Yeah.
It makes me wonder if like maybe they are working on a new Mario game, but they don't want to be like, things aren't going so well. Like we're trying to figure it out. So they just like choose not to say anything because they have to be working on a Mario game. Like the last 3D Mario was okay. I know Donkey Kong was the Odyssey team, but like there has to be a 3D Mario in one of Nintendo's many studios.
I highly doubt like they haven't done. I mean, in 2 years, it would have been 10 years since the last 3D Mario.
Which is,
I just can't believe that they get to 10 years. There's no way they get to 2027, fuck me, and not have a follow-up to Odyssey in some way. It just seems insane. Weird. I don't know. I really thought given the timing, this would be the place where they would announce something. But not even like a tease. It's very strange. We did get Mario Wonder getting a Switch 2 patch. Yay. That's about it. Yeah. That's about it. And a talking
I was like, what is
plant
I played
toy
Wonder.
thing.
That was the last 2D one. Yeah, that was really good.
Yeah, Wonder was good. Yeah, Wonder was good. Did we get a different? No, we got a lot of ports of like 2D and 3D ones on the Switch.
We got Bowser's Fury. That's like the only 3D
Bowser's Fury was good. Yeah. We had Odyssey and we had Wonder. Those were the only two big like Mario new properties. I don't know. I feel like there's a lot that they are, I hope, working on and just not saying, like a new Luigi's Mansion or a new, I don't know if they do a new Smash, but
they'll do a new Smash, 100%.
We got a new Mario Tennis game. I quite enjoyed Mario Tennis Aces, so I'm kind of keen for this one. I enjoyed that a lot more than I did the golf, so I'm keen for another tennis Mario game. But
nice.
I don't know. It was a weird direct. It was odd. Anyway, now this is truly the end of the show.
Now we're landing the plane.
Yeah,
but before we land the plane, kidding.
Thanks so much, as always, for tuning in, and thanks so much for all of the support. It's been a good few weeks, and it's going to be a good few weeks still till the end of the year, and Game of the Year is going to be a fucking wild ride this year, I'll tell you that much.
I think I say this every year, but every year, damn, Game of the Year this year's got some bangers.
Oh no, and I feel like there's still more to come that we don't even know about, to be entirely honest. So this has been episode 275. Thank you so much as always. Thank you, Matty.
Thank you for having me.
And we'll see you soon. See you next time. Stay safe. Goodbye.
Bye.